everyone, welcome to another Random Talk Sunday, and today I thought it would be interesting to briefly dive into my thoughts as far as snow and in particular the season of winter is concerned, since it is the time of year to have snow and um, have the winter season sort of get itself off the ground and started. And I can only speak from my limited experience because I live in California. So California, we only get snow in the mountains. We don't get snow in like the suburban areas, or at least the suburban areas where I live. So I think it has had a significant though effect on me since I've been to the places where it has snowed in California and beyond that as well. And um, I think it's really enjoyable to go up to the snow and, you know, do the whole sliding down the hills uh, thing and, getting snow and throwing it at people um, and having fights and whatnot of snow. I think that's all well and good and enjoyable. And the things that I really like about snow. I think that those things are really what I come to enjoy. And even though I don't experience snow every year, it's nice to have it once in a while. And I find that it has a lot of appeal. And I definitely understand why people, love to really get themselves into that environment, especially if they're really into extreme sports like skiing or snowboarding um, or even um, doing other other winter sports. Although I think skiing and snowboarding are probably the most common ones, at least the ones that I think people in California like to do. Uh, and the thing, though, I think that at least the downsides I think that come with snow have to do with primarily the fact that it can get wet. I mean, if you've ever been up in the snow and have been just having fun playing with the snow, you know that it gets wet really easily. Like your clothes get soaked. And that has to do with, falling down in the snow, um, you know, kind of crashing when you slide down and the snow hills and it really does end up freezing you because of how wet it is. And it really gets uncomfortable having to, kind of walk around in those clothes when it's so unbelievably wet. Because, it's funny because when you look at pictures of snow, it looks so like fluffy and light, but then when you actually go into snow, it's like it feels very chunky and it doesn't have that nice picturesque feel to it once you actually experience it. So it's kind of interesting in that way. So uh, not only does that have a huge impact and I think can be a huge annoyance to people, but also, the fact that it can cause like a lot of traffic, it can cause a lot of hazards and um, obviously huge burdens on transportation, all of those things, that come from snow. I can understand why other states really get annoyed by having snow around because they have to constantly move it and when it melts it gives out a whole mess. It's not the easiest thing to have around all the time, and I can understand why some people would be um, kind of even discouraged of even having snow around. And obviously, too, you have to, at least when you live within the states, you have to put on these chains when there is snow, at least a certain extent of it. I know that sometimes, uh, at least when I go up into the mountains, there you have to have chains so that nothing bad happens to, I guess, your tires. And um, So there again, there's just a lot of, I think, maintenance that goes in with having snow around because you constantly have to move it, you constantly have to be vigilant of it, and there's obviously snowstorms, which are also another pain. So again, it's not all happy, picturesque kind of um, uh, it's also very chaotic and annoying and can be a huge pain in some instances. And I can understand that. And although I haven't really had those experiences when dealing with the snow, I know that there's constantly reports around about other areas where the snow is just horrible and it causes so much traffic and so many car accidents. And yeah, I can understand that snow is just it has this thing to it. You can't live with it and you can't live without it. Because I mean, with snow, there comes a lot of food for the trees because it's all water basically. So um, I can see though, that it's more of an annoyance probably to other people besides me. Um, but I think it's a good thing to sort of, I mean, have around. I mean, there's whole industries that are built up by having resorts and snow and um, really capturing that winter and mountain-like environment, and it's really pretty to see. I mean, it's very it really does feel like you could look at it and think, how can this be sort of real life? Because it's just so amazingly uh, interesting, and there's just a lot of beauty, and 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 it also is amazing as well because it is from nature itself, and it's nothing that has ever come from man. So it is definitely a sort of, I think, blessing in that sense because it offers this very kind of unique perspective. It's sort of similar to, how the desert also has a very kind of picturesque, or at least certain picturesque elements to it that make it look fascinating and make it really unique. Obviously, the heat is a huge burden and can be a really big annoyance. But again, you have this very unique environment from it. And in the same way that snow and winter have that same effect into other environments, in particular the mountains, at least within the context of California, that's really where the snow is. Um, but I think that's really ultimately all I can say about it. I mean, I really enjoy it. Um, and obviously, I can understand the annoyance. I mean, I think it would be nice if, we could take away all of the bad things that come from having snow and having the harsh winters and whatnot, and the pouring rain. But at the same time, on the one hand, at least within my state, California really needs it. And on the other hand, I can understand why other states would prefer not to have it, at least to a larger extent. But I think, though, that's really ultimately, though, all I can say. Have there any questions, comments, concerns? I'd be more than happy to answer them. Be more than happy to hear what anybody else's experiences they had within the snow. Um, if they have a certain opinion on it and are annoyed or at least and or enjoy certain parts of the nature that surrounds this time of year. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.